Remember high school wrestler Andrew Johnson in New Jersey when he was forced to cut his hair by racist referee Alan Maloney? Or how about a black powerlifter being forced to have her beads taken out of her head in order to compete at the local level?
The organization came under scrutiny recently when on social media posts like this showed up. This is Crushers Club's president, Sally Hazelgrove, cutting a young man's dreads off. They are also known for encouraging the phrase, "All lives matter."
The National Football League and Rock Nation teaming up with Sally Hazelgrove. Longtime coach Jim Boone told black player Tyler Williams he disapproved of his hair.
You had talked about my hair like you're not liking it, and like you not like want to recruit nobody with locks like mine. Kind of like basically saying like you're not gonna bring nobody in with hair like mine.
Probably not.
To me, that's a racist comment.
It's not about race. It's about hair.
It involves hair, specifically the hairstyles of young African Americans.
She was stunned this year when she saw her school's new dress code policy.
It was the hair, and I noticed that as you kept reading, it just added more and more hairstyles that were natural and mostly worn by black people.
Did it feel personal to you?
It felt very personal.
In sports, it's a continuous theme, including big-time programs.
We got some breaking news here on SportsCenter. Northwestern has fired football coach Pat Fitzgerald.
Things that we believe here in Northwestern, number one, is there's a zero tolerance for hazing. There's no reason why to ever have it.
Go away, you Northwestern. Pat Fitzgerald's 2-week suspension turned into less than 2 weeks' notice as Northwestern fired its head football coach Monday night in the wake of a team hazing scandal.
Northwestern University has parted ways with longtime head coach Pat Fitzgerald after hazing allegations came to light. The allegations, which have been corroborated, include racism and sexual perversion. Lower-class players would be ran if they had a hiccup in a game or practice. This included being restrained in the locker room and getting dry humped by teammates. The car wash was another form where players spun around naked at the shower entrance and were forced to rub up against one another.
You want to talk about your Wildcat way?
The entire team.
You want to talk about family? You want to talk about culture? You know who's showing it? The student journalists. That program, those professors.
670 The Score's Dan Bernstein gives a shout out to the student journalists, yes, student journalists who broke this story at the Daily Northwestern, and they deserve all of the credit for everything that has transpired, and everybody should know their names. According to the whistleblower, the players would clap above a teammate's head to indicate they would get run, known as the Shrek clap. The whistleblower told the journalists Fitzgerald would repeatedly make the signal when a player made a mistake.
You want to stand behind your university? There you go. You want to talk about people charging out to the front and showing you what a college is? It's not about kicking a pigskin around and running into people and running out of the locker room. It's about telling truth to power.
Now there is more from a former player going on the record. His name is Ramon Diaz Jr., a former O-lineman at Northwestern. He came forward with more shocking, racist details of the football program under Fitzgerald. One teammate asked him why he didn't play soccer instead of football. He said he was also forced to shave Cinco de Mayo into his hair during a tradition where freshmen would shave messages on their heads. Another whistleblower told the Daily Northwestern Fitzgerald would ask black players and coaches to cut off longer hairstyles, including dreadlocks, so that they were more in line with what Fitzgerald called the Wildcat way. He also said it was an American way of doing things.
It's about having the guts and the brains to do the work for
the support.
And the support, and to do it for the right reasons, to protect the people who need protecting. Not about to be fake tough and pretend tough because you're big and strong. You want to know who's big and strong? These students who are putting their names on this work and are being threatened for it.
Another ex-offensive lineman, who was black, told the newspaper a story echoing Fitzgerald's racism where he asked a coach on his staff to cut his dreadlocks. Another player said this of the culture Under Pat Fitzgerald, the team felt segregated by race, adding the defensive side of the ball had more black players while the offensive side was often majority white. That made it difficult to be an offensive player of color, he said. Diaz would agree, as he went on the record, saying he was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder from what occurred at a football program at Northwestern University. The topics of most of these conversations with his therapist are around my self-worth, Diaz said, which is a very common outcome of someone who has been under psychological control and manipulation and abuse.
You want to talk about school pride and all of that, and you want to have a big rally, and you want $800 million to beef up your stadium for your bread and your circuses. How about the real stuff? It's being done by the Medill students and the Medill professors and their teaching assistants. And everybody there does have an actual real culture doing real things. There's your purple damn pride. The rest of it sucks.
The whistleblower would tell the paper this as well. Your blackness was not allowed to shine through, whether it was how you carried yourself, all your way down to your hair. We have covered these stories repeatedly because they are worth covering. They expose the most powerful at institutions whose mission statement is to shape the lives of young collegiates. Although Pat Fitzgerald denies he knew of the hazing, the detailed accounts spanning years through multiple whistleblowers say otherwise. The trust that one feels when a coach sits down with prospective parents to lure their son under the coach's wings has been broken. Fitzgerald will likely land on his feet because in college football, troublesome CEOs of programs have 9 lives. To the next university that extends the olive branch, what oversight will you maintain? What initiatives will you put in place? Or is it open season for segregation and PTSD? The choice is simply yours.